is up here in Canada. Well, hello, Canada. It's your Uncle Clark. On today's episode, we have one of my favorite musicians, Kelowna Folk Music Icon, Joshua Smith. Now, Josh hails from way out east in Nova Scotia, but has called the Okanagan home for the past little while, and he is an incredible singer-songwriter with a hefty following of fans all across Canada, and he was kind enough to sit down and share part of his musical and songwriting process, his musical influences, his thoughts on the Kelowna music scene, the finer points of the greatest arm wrestling movie of all time, Over the Top, and even his favorite place to visit in Canada. So don't go anywhere. All that and more coming up next in the second episode of Stay in Beauty with Uncle Clark, and I could not be more excited. Stay in Beauty with Uncle Clark and Joshua Smith.
This episode of Staying Beauty with Uncle Clark is sponsored by the Okanagan Mixing Studio, the Okanagan Valley's preferred choice for all things audio. Whether it's an album, a commercial, or even a 7.1 surround sound film, the Okanagan Mixing Studio will help take your project from terrible to terrific with the latest and greatest gear and over 15 years of experience and expertise. To see the difference a professional mix can make on your next project, head on over to okmixingstudio.com today. And now, here's your host, Clark W.
Hey, Josh, can you hear us?
Yes, absolutely.
Beauty. Okay, so
Hey there, Josh, Jordan. Boys, I hate to do this, but I just got a call from Canadian Tire waiting to hear back on trampoline. They have a 14-footer waiting for me. It's the only one in Western Canada, and they're only holding it for me for the next hour. I got to go pick this up for my kids. You know how it goes, so I'm so sorry.
That's
Jordan,
that's fine.
You okay if you just kind of, do what we did last time? You take over questions for me. And Josh, I'm sorry, boys. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally fine with me. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we can. That's okay.
All right. Well, you boys, I can't wait to hear how it turns out, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
See you, Clark.
See you, Clark. Okay, so I'm doing this again. Let me pull up my questions. Everyone listening, once again, I am Jordan. I'm Clark's twin brother and his engineer. And on today's show, we have Joshua Smith. Josh, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for coming out. Luckily, Josh is a Kelowna resident, and that's where our studio is. So we're actually doing this in the studio together, and the sound quality is a lot better than over Zoom, like the first podcast. So. Hopefully that is pleasing to everyone listening. So, all right. Well, let me take a look at the questions here, and we will get going. Josh, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, man, not very much. Just been kind of doing lots of writing, laying low, this whole COVID thing. I don't know if you've heard about it. But it's, we've just been doing lots of writing and hanging low, laying low, just kind of social distancing. And it's been really nice, actually. It's been kind of a breath of fresh air.
You've appreciated the break?
Yeah, actually, I've been able to, I haven't done any shows. It's been great for like the last probably 2 months or so. So it's been awesome to just recharge the vocals and just set some, I usually always set time aside for writing, but even more time now. It's been pretty great to create some things and just be on my own, and it's been pretty great.
Nice. And you and Bex, you guys live in that apartment.
We do.
Not the biggest apartment. Do you guys write different songs? Are you guys writing together, or how do you manage that?
Yeah, it's kind of all the things. We do live in it's a 315 square foot apartment, so everything kind of folds into everything. So it's kind of a transformer of sorts, kind of the lamest transformer ever, but but it's been great. I mean, we do lots of writing in there. It's got a pretty good sounding room too, so we can demo some things there, but we do write together, but we usually kind of start apart with our ideas and then bring them to the team, and then try to see what we can do with them. So.
Well, I'm a huge fan of whatever you guys come up with.
Thanks, buddy.
What's your official, like, you have your music, Joshua Smith music. What are you and Bex called?
Josh and Bex. It's Josh + Bex. We tried to do something more artistic. When we first started, we had a band called Waking Calliope. and but people were saying it wrong and spelling it wrong. They're like walking Calliope, and
Yeah, I was pronouncing it Calliope. So
yeah, so we were just like, you know what, forget it. We're just gonna be Josh and Bex.
It's simplified.
So, it's as simple as possible.
So what when you guys record and you record your demos and everything? What does your setup at home in your apartment look like as far as recording goes? Like, what kind of gear do you use?
Yeah. It's pretty simple. Like, it all depends too. I use Pro Tools, but just on my laptop, plugger right into my laptop. I've got my Zoom recorder system.
Oh, okay, those handheld guys?
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's a 6-channel Zoom. So,
oh, wow.
But it's got great compression. It's very good. Again, like I said, a great room. I've got the Sennheiser 4040
I like
condenser. Yeah, it's a good little best bang for your buck kind of demoing mic. So we really like that. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, we're pretty simple. So I mean, usually we're really just getting our vocals, and Bex we have a stage 2 Nord as well.
Oh, the red one.
Yeah, they're
so nice.
Really nice, and we've got lots of we've created a few patches, and we kind of create a lot of our own soundscapes and stuff too. Yeah. So it's nice to have it all there. So, but it's really, really simple, so we don't get too overcomplicated.
Yeah. Do you guys like record your vocals in a closet with clothes around and everything, or
we do. Actually, that either that or we have a pretty awesome bathroom too. So it sounds pretty good.
Acoustics in there.
So, but then we're very mobile because of our setup, so we can go anywhere. Like, we've recorded in like the Laurel Packing House, which is a venue downtown. We've in the woods too. Like, we've a lot of naturey sounding songs too. And,
oh man, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah. So like, what sparked that was years ago, I helped do some group vocal stuff on a group called the Small Glories up at the Bottega studio. Rest in peace.
Bottega, yep.
And but one night the crickets were just crazy loud, so we set up a bunch of mics outside and captured all the crickets. Nice. And it made it onto the record and just made it so
that's awesome.
Organic and authentic. So
that's a good transition into the next question there. When was the first time? Well, Bottega, for those of you who don't know, used to be a beauty studio here in Kelowna, but unfortunately had to shut down.
Yeah, it was unreal. Yeah,
weird things. But when was the first time you remember going into a professional studio?
Oh yeah, I would say I was 12. It was back out east. I went into George Hebert's studio, he recorded Anne Marie's stuff. So,
okay.
And my dad was like a prominent songwriter out east as well, and wrote with like Gene McClellan and a bunch of these different, the Rankins and things like that.
Oh, no way.
So he, when I was young, I kind of got the itch to want to check out a studio, and Dad had always worked in studios and producing and things like that. So he brought me out to George Hebert's studio. So it was pretty cool. I was really nervous. He wanted me to come out, and he's like, just get 5 songs ready, and we'll see what we can record. And 2 of the songs I had written, and then I think the other ones were just Weird Al songs or something.
Also, the first time you were in a pro studio, you were actually recording stuff of your own.
Yeah. So I was 12. I mean, I remember one of the songs was called Perfect Girl, and it's like, she's the perfect girl, and basically any word that rhymes with girl. And then I put it into, and then I had like 8 verses. And, but anyway, it was just kind of, Dad wanted me to get in there and just kind of get a feel for what the studio was like, and just, the engineers, and just kind of sitting with headphones on and talking into a mic and all those things. So I remember just being just blown away. I was like, wow. And it was a smaller studio, but it was like, man, I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. So
yeah, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own little studio set up at home now, and you can actually get things to sound pretty beauty. But I remember the first time I went to a pro studio in Calgary with my trumpet teacher. I was taking trumpet lessons, and we rolled in there, and there's like the glass separating the control room and the live room, and headphones, and you see all the gear, and it was so like just walking, like kind of in the basement and dark lights, and there's just this whole different subterranean world, and it was incredibly intimidating but exciting at the same time.
Yeah, like when you said the glass, I remember just because you have these visions, like me, like reading magazines and seeing like old Beatles pictures and of like, you know, Abbey Road Studios and all. There's always the guy, you know, the engineer behind the glass. And I remember just seeing the engineer behind the glass and being like, whoa, like that's cool. It actually exists. It's real.
This is legit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your favorite part of the entire recording process, from, you know, songwriting to all the way through to mastering?
Oh, I mean, I have a couple. I love doing like the final vocals, like when the song has finally grown to like what we're going to keep and what's going to make it onto the record. So I love putting on those headphones and going into the booth and then hearing the final product, because it's different from just like when you just demo your vocals just for ghost tracks and whatever. When you finally get to that end part where you're putting down your final vocals, it's pretty cool. To hear just the whole arrangement. It's really inspiring, and you sing the song a different way when it's fully done, you know?
Yeah, when it's just you and your guitar, the emotion and the mood is one thing. But, you know, when you have the entire London Symphony Orchestra backing you after you've finished recording, it's a little bit more emotional.
Totally, absolutely. But then I also love, just some nights it usually happens late at night, but the studio magic just of sometimes new ideas come into the room, new inspirations for the song, and it's cool to watch. Sometimes it's not me that discovers them. Sometimes it's the bass player that thinks of a different sound or something going on that just enhances the song, or you know, sometimes I don't know, I just like I just love the tension in a studio. Sometimes I love the creative tension.
When you know you have like all these musicians sitting around and they just kind of feed off of each other. I find sometimes the musical energy creates these ideas that might not otherwise have been there if you're just on your own.
Yeah, and I always ask, I always let the musicians know that they're part of this process too. You know, like just like if you ever have ideas or anything like that, just always speak up, or just, nothing's a bad idea. So sometimes, there's that open and honest space in the studio as well. So it's pretty cool.
So how do you, how do you write your songs? I know you have, you can collaborate with your band and the studio musicians, but as far as the very beginning of coming up with a song or an album, what's your process for writing songs?
I think it's case by case for me. Usually if I head out on tour, or if say I'm just driving through the Rockies towards Calgary or something, usually I'll just have the stereo off and it's just me in silence for 6 hours. And sometimes that's where all the best ideas come from, because I'll just start humming something and then, just start kind of making sounds along with the melody. They're not lyrics yet, but it's just this, just kind of creating a mood, or trying to create like a syllable flow or something like that. But then sometimes it's the lyrics. Sometimes I'll say a line in my head and I'm like, oh, somebody must have written that already. And then I'll go and Google it and be like, oh, no, there's nothing. I'm like, yes,
I can go with this. Yeah.
I'm both excited and just like, oh no, now I have to write a whole song around that great line.
Yeah.
So it's, so I would say both. I mean, sometimes it's melodic. I'll just be playing my guitar, and then sometimes it's lyrical. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite lyric of all time that you've come up with?
Let me think about that. I would say there's a song that I wrote called "The Game" that hasn't been released yet, but it's just all about this person who kind of got burned in the industry, and the person who did the burning. It's all about kind of them. They get to the end of their life and they've kind of cut all these corners, and kind of look back on their life and burned all these bridges, and they don't have anybody to lean on or any friends. So it's a super happy song.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it's great.
Family favorite.
Yeah, very much. But no, I kind of said in the chorus, I say like a triple crown horse buried out in the corn, time will get you, son. So it gets everyone.
Wow.
So it's just like,
inescapable.
So it's just, time gets everyone, so it catches up with everybody. Whether you're a Triple Crown championship horse or whoever you are, Father Time is undefeated. So,
do you have a song out of all the songs that you have produced, not just not written, but songs that are out there? If you had to point to one as the one that you are most proud of from the songwriting standpoint all the way through to the production, which one would it be?
I have a couple. I would have to say, just from my last record, which you helped mix, and which is called, like, the album is called Come Home Soon. But I would have to say on that one, I really loved how the idea of Whiskey Waltz is the name of one of the songs on there. Just arranging wise, and just how the idea came to life, and just sometimes you write songs and you have these ideas of production and arranging, and then it doesn't turn out quite the way. And sometimes you just don't have the words to express how you want it to come out.
Right.
So, but Whiskey Waltz came out exactly the way I wanted it, and it was so satisfying. I was like,
that's an incredible song.
Yeah, just like had the choirs all singing, and I had envisioned people coming up to, again, Bottega, to record and do group vocals, and we'd all sip whiskey and beer and just like have a great time. It just, it's a very East Coast song. So,
absolutely. I think that's probably, I don't know, I have a few favorite songs of yours, but Whiskey Waltz is always the first one that comes to mind. The story, the journey of the main character. Whiskey Waltz, Joshua Smith, if you guys haven't checked it out, you have to go check it out. There's, I don't know another song like it. It's incredible. And
again, like, just it all, everybody played their part in it too. Like, from you mixing it, Jordan, was great mixing job. Awesome. The, Jason Jermaine mastering it. We've got Jamie Prentice kind of capturing all the sounds initially. And then Bottega, of course, just for having like such an amazing studio to even capture all of those sounds. So,
it's so sad that Bottega shut down.
Gosh, I know. I think about it all the time. I'm like, it's just such a great studio.
All that gear and that amazing space. It was just custom-made recording studio.
So many great groups recorded there, and just such a great, like, there's music in the walls there still, and it's just too bad. It's just kind of, it holds kind of kegs now, I guess.
Yeah, like, now it's a cidery, right? And the live room, which I was told, the acoustic treatment in the ceiling was like one giant piece of mahogany or something like that.
Yeah. So
and now it's making the cider taste better by acoustically treating it that way, apparently. So
yes,
wonderful cider, Soma Cidery.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, they're fantastic. Shout out to Michael Donnelly and all the guys there. So,
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the very first time that you thought, "Hey, I might actually be good enough at this whole music thing to make a career out of it"?
Yeah. I don't know if there's like a certain time. I grew up in it's just a musical family. Like my grandma, my grandpa, they were in a band together. Like my great grandpa, like my dad, like everybody in the East Coast is just kind of ingrained into. So you can, even like a bunch of my friends that don't do music full time are still fantastic musicians. Like they're wonderful. But so I don't know. I would have to maybe say, going to that studio for the first time when I was like 12, I remember being like, oh, like, I could, and then leaving, being really excited about that whole process, and just being like, oh, I need to write more things so I can go back to that studio and record them. Like,
so you knew from around the age of 12, if not a little bit before that,
I would say
was going to be a big part of your life.
I was always encouraged, like, by my parents and by my aunts and uncles and everybody, like in my community too. Like people are, were always instilled in me, just that they really believed in my music. And, but yeah, so I would say I would have to, maybe if I had to pick, I would maybe say when I was 11 or 12, but, I always loved, I just don't even remember not loving music. So I just have always, like, growing up, my mom would always say, like, I would harmonize with the vacuum cleaner when I was like 4.
Right?
I put my head
on doing that.
Yeah, I put my head on the floor and like I just sound ridiculous. Like people
that drone.
Yeah, and it changes pitches. So I think little things like that even helped with my vocal intonation.
Yeah.
And just trying to like harmonize with a vacuum cleaner.
I used to harmonize.
I'm sure that's
with,
what people call me, a vacuum cleaner, when they try to harmonize with me because I'm all over the place. But it's all right.
My dad. I used to drywall with my dad, and the compressor would go whenever he'd like stipple the ceilings. And there's just that drone, that one like root note. Yeah. Whatever the key of a compressor
you do, like,
is.
the thirds. You're like,
and I would use that as like the bass or the root note of whatever song I was singing along to. I love doing that. So. You do music full time now, like that, and you've been doing that for a while. What was the transition from the last time you had either a full time job or part time job and doing music on the side? When did you fully transition to just doing music?
I would have to say like 2011. I'm gonna have to say it was like full time. I was still kind of gigging a little here and there, and just songwriting, and I've always been songwriting, but I'd have to say probably 2011. I was working for Walt Disney Company before that, and
writing depressing songs for their movies.
Yes, of course. But just their online Club Penguin, their online studio, and then I worked there because I moved to Kelowna in 2008, I think, and then I pretty much right away got hired on to Club Penguin, and then worked there for maybe 3 years. Yeah. And I'd always had the goal of going fully independent at some point. And I think I was just ready. I don't know. There was nothing that kind of pushed me over the edge. I think I just was, well, actually, that's not true. I guess I was, my previous marriage and stuff, I kind of, after that kind of fizzled and ended, I was just kind of like, well, it's now or never. Like, right. If I don't have, not to say that was holding me back, but just, I'm free to, like, literally free to just go in any direction I want right now. So why not just jump off and let's do this, if I don't do it now, then I don't want to grow up regretting not following my passion, right? So, right. Yeah. So I guess, I'd have to say that. So after the marriage ended, I probably was just kind of ready to jump in with both feet. So said bye to Disney. They were great to me. I mean, they were a great company. And
so Disney Club Penguin was your last job before you became a full-time musician.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, not that I ever like would have to make another resume or anything, but I was like, previous work experience, and it's like 10 years ago. Wow. Oh man. And what did you do in between? Yeah. Ooh, man, that's a long story.
Just lots of different stuff. Yeah. So what brought you to Kelowna in the first place?
I would have to say marriage. Like initially, I had met like my previous wife. I had met her in Banff. Okay. I moved out west and had never been there before. And then met her. And anyway, we fast forward to us moving to Kelowna. I moved here ahead of time. I had a couple buds already here, and they were like, "Oh, you should move out to Kelowna. It's really nice, like, and good weather." And then I also had that opportunity with Disney too. So I was like, "All right, well, I mean, I might as well pack up and go." Yeah. And I've been here ever since. I mean, it's beautiful out here. So
did you know about the music scene in the Okanagan before you came out, or was that something you kind of discovered afterwards?
No, now this is like, I had lived, before I moved to Banff, I was living down in Tennessee, in Nashville, and
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's like this little one-horse town with, I think Dolly Parton lives there or something.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, yeah. She's a football player.
Okay.
But she, CFL. CFL. Yeah. She, I was down there, and then I kind of moved up, just, long story short, from Nashville, came up and lived in Banff for a little bit, and then moved out and just didn't know anything about Kelowna really at all, except that it was really nice out and that I could do my music really kind of from anywhere. So I was like, well, kind of moved out this way, but not, I mean, I kind of moved out and then just kind of started to learn about the music industry here. And it's just the 10 years that I've been here, I would say it's grown exponentially. Like before, when I moved here, there was maybe 2 or 3 music venues, like, thriving music venues. I'm sure there were other, house shows and things like that. But I think it was there wasn't a lot of street performing. There wasn't a lot of, I mean, Ryan Don, I don't know if you know Ryan Don, but he helped build a lot of the music culture and
would you say Kelowna is now, known for its musicians and its arts culture?
Yeah, I think it's starting to gain a name for itself. Yeah. I think we're still kind of growing and finding our identity, but there's definitely a lot of amazing singer-songwriters, not just singer-songwriters, but just because that's the world I'm in. But lots of just different genres coming out and a lot of different collaborations within genres and Layla Neverland recording some stuff with Nils and like all these different people getting together that you might not think would get together. So it's kind of cool. Things are germinating and people are starting to I think the music scene's starting to grow. I think COVID maybe didn't help a lot of things, but with collaboration.
Yeah, we'll get into the specifics of COVID and how it's affected you and literally every musician we both know. My goodness. So speaking of Kelowna, what do you love the most about living here?
Oh man, I would have to say that basically any direction you drive in like 15 minutes you're out in the woods and it's great because I grew up a small town boy, so lots of nature. I'm an ocean boy at heart, but these mountains are pretty good too.
They'll do.
Yeah, they'll have to do. Yeah. But so I love that I can just, if I need to go for a run or a hike or get out kayaking or whatever, just go out and right in the middle of the woods somewhere. I can see the forest from my window, so I can, it's not that far away. So it's great because it's a developing city and Kelowna's growing by leaps and bounds. It's a small town that's growing up too fast.
But no kidding.
It's but yeah, I would have to say the outdoor, all of that stuff.
So, it's a city, but in a sense, it almost has like a small town vibe to it. I mean, it's like I've lived in Calgary and Vancouver and all that stuff, so I would consider Kelowna to be like a small town city.
Totally.
And you can see.
I always felt that way about Nashville too.
All
like
around,
when I first moved to Nashville, I remember thinking, wow, and that was like 2005 or 4 or something like that. But I remember just thinking, wow, this is like, it's got like, I think like at the time I think it was 1 million people or something. But I was like, it seems so much smaller.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I haven't been back in a while, but
it's still hot there. I was there this summer. It's still
they
hot.
call it Nash Vegas.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how lush it is down there. I always pictured it kind of being, I don't know, more deserty or something like that, but there's just
it's closer to the
everywhere.
Carolinas. It's still kind of lush and green, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some music come out of there sometime. I know there's like a studio or two.
I'm sure someone will get inspiration.
Yeah, maybe we'll start one, be the first.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so Kelowna, you perform live all the time. Josh is a staple in the Kelowna, Okanagan music community. What would you consider to be the most, the biggest variables that determine a good performance live versus, an off night for you personally?
I think it keeps changing every year. I mean, I remember when I first started even performing as a kid live, even just the littlest thing would throw me off. If somebody yelled at me for putting my amp in the wrong place, I'd just be like, I don't think I can perform tonight. But so as you grow, like you kind of gain a bit of a thicker skin. So, I think I don't usually like get thrown off that much, things like a great set for me is, just when the storytelling is working, when my banter is working really well, when the crowd, like if I, like my favorite venue to play in the Okanagan would have to be the Dream Cafe.
Oh, okay.
And it's in Penticton and it's just so magical. Like you show up there and they treat you like gold and it's a listening room. So when you get there, the people are there ready to listen. Like you don't have to win over the crowd.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So they're already in the palm of your hand and they've already come to listen to stories. So those kind of venues and those kind of settings make it so easy to have a great performance. So I would have to say, I don't know. It's a tough question it's so case by case. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one to
All right.
answer. Yeah.
Okay, so who are your musical influences in your earlier years?
When I was really young, like I was listening to like Weird Al, and and I have a great appreciation for Weird Al. I don't listen like a lot anymore, but I think he's just brilliant. Like there's nobody like him.
Yeah.
I learned, and oddly enough, like even as silly as it sounds, but like a lot of my songwriting, I learned a lot from Weird Al, just from how he parodied songs, like just the structure of a song, and then plopping new lyrics into a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young song,
Right.
Like that's supposed to be the serious song that he changed into like this goofy song about garbage or something. I don't know. So it really helped my imagination when I was a kid. But so I would say Weird Al, the Beatles.
Yeah. Again,
Beatles,
I've never heard of them. Are they an East Coast thing?
The Beatles or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay. No, I have heard of them. Okay.
But they're basically spanned across all of the eras for sure for me. Like they're just all time for me. So that, like my dad would always put on Beatles records when I was a kid, and just listening to the White Album, whenever I'd go to sleep as a kid. And then I'd always wake up on that number nine, just super creepy. And I'd have to like go run across the room and skip the song.
No kidding. Yeah.
Vivid memories of that. But yeah, and then like Ray Stevens as well. He was like when I was a kid.
Okay.
Do you remember Ray Stevens?
You know what?
He wrote a song called "The Streak."
Oh, okay.
That's
I know that
why
song.
they call him the Streak.
Yeah.
So a lot of like silly stuff when I was a kid, but also the Beatles too. But that's pretty much it. And then as I got older, for sure, James Taylor and Paul Simon, Zeppelin. Man, just so many. The Oak Ridge Boys, vocal groups and stuff. So my family, we grew up super country. Like my aunts and uncles and everybody listened to Buck Owens and Johnny Cash and Waylon and all that stuff. But so I was kind of fed a lot of these new influences when I was a kid, like to kind of build my foundation. But so
what about later on in life, your adult years now, the past 5 to 10 years? Who would you point to as who's consistently you're listening to them in the car or something like that?
I guess as I kind of started to just kind of find my own way musically. Josh Ritter is pretty amazing. The Joshes, Josh Rouse as well, as a killer musician, singer-songwriter. I think he lives in Tennessee, he's from Tennessee, but he lives in Spain now. Let me think here. I mean, I'm a big hip-hop head too, so I love growing up when I was a kid, Tribe Called Quest and all that stuff. Nice. But even lately, Kendrick Lamar. And I just love people that it's such an art form that I just I can't rap to save my life, but I just love the syllable counts and just watching someone that has great flow but can still string together a message, right? I just love that. So Lauryn Hill, the Fugees, that kind of stuff when I was growing up. But then early Coldplay stuff. Love early Coldplay stuff. Don't really listen to them much anymore, but there's just so many. I'm just trying to think. It's always just a tornado of.
What was the last record you had on your turntable?
Black Messiah.
Who's that?
By D'Angelo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so good. Pino Palladino plays on it. Questlove drums on it. It's an amazing vinyl. Black Messiah is just so good. I always have it on. So
dream concert you have not been to yet that you really want to go see?
Okay, I was gonna say, was it like a living or dead kind of thing? Like,
we have another question about living or dead later. So let's say living.
Living right now, I still haven't seen Paul McCartney. He's my unicorn right now. Haven't been able to catch him. I would love to see Tool. Tool would be pretty rad. And maybe like a DC Talk reunion concert.
I think, aren't they? Or is that Newsboys?
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Like
that's
putting
awesome.
the original
and they're getting
back together.
They're opening for Tool.
That makes sense. Okay, so along that same line, if you could choose one musician, living or dead, to do a duet with, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. Just off the top of my head, living or dead, Paul Simon.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, or Weird Al.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Potato.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. Memorable career moments of 2019 before COVID happened, the year before that.
Right.
If you had to pick one highlight for your career, what would it be?
Oh, for 2019. Well, I think 2019, just in its entirety, was a really great career year. Like, there's just a lot of little steps along the way that were great. Bex and I kind of set a goal to record a full EP, release an EP's worth of songs in the year, which we did, and which was awesome. Set that goal. Just co-writing, I really wanted to keep pushing my co-writing, publishing kind of side of things as well. Yep. So, I worked with a few really awesome artists, just kind of pushing, like I said, just a lot of little steps. I think just, they're not like, they might not sound huge or anything, but like a lot of the things that I've kind of set goals for, I was like, I really wanted to make sure that I hit all those goals, and I did last year. So I think 2019 as a whole was just a really great, awesome step for my career. So awesome. Lots of little things. So recording, and I kind of checked all the boxes. So it was a lot of physically recording things, getting them out, releasing content, but then also just a lot of writing and creating with and networking with a lot of great artists too. So that's been really positive.
Man, I remember there was a bylaw that was trying to get passed in Kelowna where you had to have a permit to busk, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Totally.
And Josh rallied the entire music community in Kelowna and wrote this song, this like anti-establishment song. And we got all of these musicians together in Jesse Paget's farmhouse.
Yes. May it rest in peace. It's gone now.
What a house that was. And we recorded everything live in the living room. And Josh wrote the song. He got all these people to sing on it, perform on it. And we even did a music video for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was awesome. We had, Isaac Balson came up with Chelsea McAvoy, and they shot the video for it. You came up and captured all the sound, the audio. We had all kinds of people there. It was like, just too many to name. It was like just everybody was up there, right? So.
And what happened as a result of that song?
It was great. Yeah, it actually caused a little bit of a stir. They kind of reversed the law, basically. They kind of, so that people can perform. They don't need. I don't think they need permits anymore. There's just stops now where you can do it.
Yeah. But it's activism, musical activism.
Boom! It totally worked. It was great, and it was awesome. It kind of started as a thing. Michael Elliott, who was part of the video as well. He was kind of stopped by a city police, or maybe was it city or Kelowna, downtown Kelowna officer.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And anyway, it kind of. That's what sparked the whole uprise. So
wow!
But it was awesome. It was really cool to see activism working, and not just and done in a tasteful way that doesn't hurt people's feelings.
It's kind of a cool thing to be a part of. Kelowna musicians and tourists, you have Josh to thank for your freedom to busk when and where you want. Don't forget that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, COVID. Have you heard of COVID?
Yes.
It was this thing that kind of happened that stopped the world. And I don't know if,
But everything's great now, right?
Yeah, everything's fine. Okay. Everything's back to normal. But I think musicians, from my perspective, have been the most affected by this from the people that are in my circles.
Right.
My goodness, how has it affected you and your music?
Yeah, it has definitely affected my music. I would have to say, especially, it depends on the trajectory of each musician, I guess. Like, and like some people have built their platform online, and that's all that they do, and a lot of them are fine, and like they still interact, and they still have that platform to to interact with their fans, their fan base and audience. So, which I do as well. I do have an online presence, but a lot of mine is storytelling in in-person shows, right? So, which I've always just felt like, technology can advance as much as it wants, but nothing replaces human connection and interaction, like face-to-face, people listening to stories and storytelling in that way. So yeah, it's affected, I'd have to say, it's been weird. Like, it's affected me in the way that just like all of my shows are canceled. Yeah. So that storytelling outlet has been kind of taken away for now, but it's kind of a glass half full thing as well, because I've really enjoyed kind of just stepping back and taking a breath and taking a look from just kind of a bird's eye view of my career, and like, okay, what am I? Yeah, I'm going this way, but like, what else is going on here? So I can kind of dissect everything in the comfort of my home and just take a breath and just, I mean, if anything, it's been nice to not have to release so much content. Yeah. I feel a lot of my artistic friends have kind of stepped back a little bit, because once this COVID thing happened, it just a lot of musicians started posting a lot of content. Like it was just, there's just so much online content, which is great. And, each person has the freedom to do that. But I felt I'm just going to step back and just kind of go dark for a little bit. Yeah. And just kind of reassess things. And I don't want to just release content for content's sake. So especially it'll just get muddled and lost in the big giant content river that's flowing right now, out of Facebook and all of these different Instagram and lots of just content. And
there's a few posts out there, a little bit of content,
and just all the online concerts and all the things. And like I said, they're all great. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I felt for myself, I was like, I just need to step back and just kind of maybe be silent for right now until I kind of have a more focused, vision of where I'm going. Because especially with COVID, it's the things are new now. So I can't, the things that we used to be able to do, we can't do anymore. So
do you have any live shows in the works coming up at any point soon?
Yeah, well, I do actually. I play tomorrow.
What?
Yeah, I got a show tomorrow at my friend Roger's winery, Hester Creek Winery out in Oliver. So it's like first time I've done a show in since ever. Really. Yeah, I don't even remember the last show.
How does that work with the
I don't know, but he did say that they have all the things in place. It's a socially distanced performance. So they have a big space there, so it's easy. It'll be easy. It'll be okay for.
You'll be cocooned in plexiglass like a drummer in a
absolutely.
Church
Yeah, I'll have my
sanctuary.
hazmat suit on and
really nice and intimate and personal.
Yes. So it'll be interesting. It'll be weird to see humans again that are come out for music. So so that'll be interesting. I'll definitely report back on.
Yeah, I'm not anxious, but I'm interested to see how that all goes.
Yeah, and it's just been,
it's an unknown, uncharted territory for, both the musicians and the people going to see them and all this. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So I'm both looking forward to it and, just a little bit apprehensive, I guess. I don't know. I'm just I'm stoked to play songs again, but it's, it'll be really interesting. So.
Okay. Are there, and I know some musicians have Patreon sites or is there a way for your fans to support you during this time where you're not, doing as many live shows as you have in the past?
Yeah, I've got all of my content online. So of course, one of the biggest ways is just sharing. If you like something that you hear, then just share it with your friends. Stream as much as you can. I've got my website too, so you can go to my website. There's Bandcamp. Basically any platform that's out there, I'm on. So but not MySpace yet. But
because they're still making that. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's in beta.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been since 2002.
I have one.
I think. Yeah.
I know the guys, and they sent me. They wanted me to test
Tom.
it out.
Tom.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with Tom. Forgot about that guy. Oh,
I can still see that picture of him looking back, being
the
like,
white T-shirt.
Yeah, totally.
Looking back. 8-pixel phone picture,
like a Motorola Razor photo.
That's amazing.
But yeah, no, people can go online, and I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump to some non-music. Some of them are still somewhat music-related questions, but they're less serious questions. If you could own any object in the world, what would it be?
Any object in the world? Oh my goodness!
Not the Batmobile, because that's mine. You can't have that.
The Batwing, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Any object. Let me see here. I would have to say, gosh, there's a lot of instruments that, again, it comes back to music. There's a lot of old instruments that I would love, like some of those old, like the late 20s Gibsons are pretty amazing. Yeah. But away from music, I love old quirky cars. So just like, they're not even sports cars. It's just like weird, just like the old Beatles and stuff like that. But then just there's some old like rare like Italian car models that like 2 doors with like 3 wheels and stuff that are just like really
just
cool.
Those weird circus type cars.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I love those. So I would love to get one of those.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. If you're forced to not be a full-time musician and you had to choose a different career, what would you choose?
I would have to I love cooking, so I'd say culinary arts.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's still very expressive, and you can still tell a story through your food and create amazing flavors and experiences for people. Like people come out and are changed by the food that you make.
That's interesting. What do you have a signature Joshua Smith dish?
Ooh,
that you like. That I'm so proud of this food when I make it.
I mean, I know most dudes say this, but I grill a really good prime rib. So
do you?
Yeah,
so you should teach me. I'm okay with chicken, but steak, I have no idea.
I think you just turn it all the way up and then just walk away for a couple of minutes.
It takes care of itself.
That's right.
Okay, so chef, cook, that would be your second career choice.
So basically from now on, just say yes, chef.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, well, lucky Bex then, I guess. Hey?
Yeah. Well, she's really good at cooking.
She's really good too.
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay, you'll have to have us over more often. All right, favorite athlete?
Oh, MJ, Michael Jordan. Oh, all day long.
Absolutely.
Oh man, that Last Dance was like, I was already like in love with Michael Jordan, but now I'm even more.
Oh, Michael Jordan. I thought you meant Michael Jackson, the athlete.
Matt Johnson.
Yeah, I see, man, there's so many MJs.
Oh, he's legendary.
Yeah, that documentary was incredible.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, and so many things I forgot about from my childhood. I based a lot of like my motivation, even as a musician, from Michael Jordan. Like even as a kid, just being like watching his work ethic and just like, he's all time.
Yeah, he had a pretty hefty work ethic, that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good, I guess.
Quite inspirational. Okay. Favorite composer, old school.
Ooh, old school. Old school composer. I'd have to say Chopin.
Chopin is an old school composer.
I'd have to. Yeah, and then new school Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
Just to throw it in there.
Okay, so
Danny Elfman's pretty great too.
Danny Elfman. So favorite movie score.
Ooh, I'm a big Last of the Mohicans fan.
Oh yes,
classic. But that
wasn't Hans Zimmer, was it?
No, that was
James Horner.
I
have to look now.
I'm brain farting right now. I'm gonna say James Horner. He did a lot of.
Let's see.
Or it might be Hans Zimmer.
Randy Edelman and Trevor Jones.
What? I had different names for that altogether. That's crazy.
I thought it was
interesting.
Yeah, it says Randy Edelman. I never would have guessed that. I don't even know who Randy Edelman is.
I don't know either.
Anyway, okay, so Last of the Mohicans.
Or I would say Garden State is a great soundtrack. It's just a great compilation of songs.
Garden State. The Zach Braff one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great soundtrack and great movie. Like it's an underrated movie for sure.
Yeah. That has that. I just don't think I'll ever get over you.
Yeah. Natalie Portman's in that too. That's Colin Hay.
Colin Hay.
Yeah. Oh, gut wrenching.
Yeah, I think that was the first. Other than Forrest Gump, that was the first like soundtrack made up of licensed songs that I really took notice of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one was there's a couple songs that aren't on it that are in the movie that I think were just copyright stuff. But,
okay.
But then Gladiator 2, that's my top 3.
Oh yeah, Hans Zimmer.
That's
again.
definitely
strikes again. Favorite movie then? Ooh.
There's just so many. Top 3, I'll say Good Will Hunting, Coffee and Cigarettes, great movie, and then Back to the Future.
1, 2, or 3?
1. Just the first one.
Yep, solid choice. Me too.
Yeah. If I just ask me tomorrow, it'll be different.
Yeah. Actually, no. I think I might like 2 because of the hoverboard.
It's true. 2 was pretty great. That was a solid trilogy, though.
It really was. Yeah. It's hard to. I mean, because
even the third one was great.
Even just the country music in number 3, like the fiddle music at the dance, where they get the clock tower going. That makes number 3.
It's very reminiscent of like the cantina scene in Star Wars.
Yeah,
like, just like it's memorable music. Like it,
right?
Yeah. Right.
So good. Okay. All right. What do you miss most about? Well, actually, I'm going to reframe this. If you had to choose one decade to be stuck in forever, which decade would it be?
Oh man, 70s.
Okay, why?
Yeah, just awesome cars, great music. Like music had kind of flourished to this kind of psychedelic stage. Really cool experimenting in music, lots of different sounds and feedbacks and things like that were really starting to kind of take flight. So I'd say musically 70s, definitely the cars.
Okay. Yep.
Like just the vibes. It's kind of post Vietnam, kind of, maybe, I guess I'd have to say.
Yeah, no, that's a solid choice.
Yeah,
solid
70s.
Choice.
Yeah, great movies too, like Godfather and Rocky was late 70s, right?
I think. And when did Star Wars come out? Was it 70s?
76. Yeah, 76, I think.
Yeah.
Right? 70s.
Decade.
Oh, so good.
Okay. Yeah. If you had to choose one thing from the 90s to bring back and just be part of everyday life, can you think of something? Maybe even the 80s. Let's say 80s and 90s. Bring back something from those eras.
I really liked. When I was a kid, I used to have fun with those devil sticks. Do they still have those? Remember devil sticks?
What kind of home did you grow up in?
I got them for my birthday one year. You remember devil sticks? Like there's like the 3 sticks, and then you have to like balance the stick. It's like a circus thing.
Yeah.
Wow,
we called them Christian sticks. I don't know why you call them
Jesus sticks.
Jesus sticks.
Oh, that sounds weird.
Yeah. Okay. Devil sticks. That's good.
I mean, I don't know. Beta tapes.
I'm so sad to see those go.
I used to have King David on beta with what's his name in it.
King David.
Richard Gere.
Richard Gere's okay. Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. So I had beta.
I had like all the Rock'em Sock'em videos on beta.
Yeah, I think maybe just VHS then. Bring VHS back.
Yeah.
Great quality.
I mean, if you go upstairs into my bonus room, I have a few VHS on Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Man. I was just telling Bex about that yesterday. Yeah. Just all 3 of them are up on Netflix now.
Right?
Yeah.
My son told me that the other day. I'm like, what? Feels like Christmas. All
just
3
need
of them.
a me day, and then just.
Can we quickly discuss something? Eli and I watched Over the Top the other night. Are you familiar with that movie at all?
Stallone, the arm wrestling one, right?
When did you last watch that?
Must be like 90s or something.
No, okay.
Yeah, a long time ago.
You need to watch it again because it really stands up.
It does, eh?
Wow.
All of his movies,
like the montage when they go to the final arm wrestling tournament in Vegas. It feels like they just have cameras rolling and they're just capturing actual real stuff, and Stallone just happens to be walking around.
Who's the antagonist in that?
Bull Hurley, man. Remember that big bald guy? He's like, I'm gonna give you a world of hurt, little man.
Love it.
Oh, they should have had Macho Man in there at some point, though. They really missed out.
Right? He would have been so great.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
And the listening to the soundtrack in that, and again, it's not much of a soundtrack. It's more like, like late 80s, early 90s pop, like love ballads.
Totally.
It's incredible. We need to cover some of those.
Have you guys watched Smokey and the Bandit?
No. Is that
on Netflix? Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. No, I have never seen that. No, I've
those
never
are
seen
great. My dad and I used to watch those all the time.
Smokey, and it is on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're so good. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. The last piece of art that left an impression on you, and that can be like painting, drawing, book, movie, anything.
I would have to say the last that left an impression on me.
Other than Over the Top.
Yes, of course. That goes without saying. Yeah. I would say my best bud Dylan Ranney. He's a local painter / – musician, drummer,
and just all around good guy.
Yes, he's pretty much. Yeah, he's pretty much the best human out there. But yeah, he made like just basically a day after my dad passed in January, he painted me a picture of my dad. So it's just a gorgeous picture. It's just of my dad playing his guitar, just kind of with nobody watching. It's just like him by himself, kind of playing his guitar. So
that's
that
incredible.
was yeah. So that I would say that painting is unreal. So and it's just so raw. He didn't overdo it, or it's just a nice, simple painting. So yeah.
And you were just in Halifax for about a month, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was good to get back. And I mean, if COVID has done anything good for me, it's just that I was able to fly home for a month and see my mom. So yeah, it was really good. And just kind of, I think our whole family just getting used to life without Papa Bear. So just going back and making sure mom's good and going out for walks and sipping on tequila and listening to old records and just reminiscing and just very cathartic for sure.
And I saw you you did a post about your dad's guitar that you have inherited or I'm not sure what the right word is, but what does his guitar mean to you?
Oh, I mean, just a flood of things. I would say it's the first guitar I ever saw in my life. Like I didn't, my dad was the one that introduced me to music. So any memory I have of growing up at family reunions, just sitting around jamming, that guitar is in all of them, right? So yeah, like the first record I ever listened to was like my dad's record. And I thought my dad was a rock star. I was like, this is amazing. Like my dad toured and that guitar's seen a lot of places and it's written a lot of songs. It's been in the hands of a lot of, like Gene McClellan. He wrote Snowbird, the song Snowbird, and the Rankin, it's been around the block and it's just, the wood is just soaked with tradition and memories and, so it's just such a massive guitar to bring home. So
is that going to be your main performing guitar now, or just on certain
occasions?
occasions?
I've kind of struggled with it a little bit. I have such reverence for it, and it's just such a scary thing to bring home. Like it's just kind of, that was my dad's, that's the guitar, So, I think I will always have it on stage with me and I will go to it if, I just need to, like right now I'm recording, I had my dad out 2 years ago and, we were recording a bunch of his songs, a few new ones and then some older ones that just never made it to tape or like recording. So he came out and we just kind of laid down some vocals and guitar and so yeah, we were able to capture just kind of the raw guitar and vocals, and then we were going to do a full production of all the songs. And so yeah, he's after he passed, I went back and sent a bunch of the songs out east to my dad's best friend Sheldon, who they toured together back in the day, and they were in a group called Smith and Chant. So Sheldon Chant is the chant of the Smith. And so him and I are going to finish the record together, and which is pretty awesome because he was always my hero growing up too. Like there's Dad, and then I loved Sheldon. He always he helped buy my first guitar for me, and with my dad, like they surprised me on Christmas morning.
That's so cool.
I had it on layaway and thought I wouldn't pay it off until July or something, but then they paid the rest off. And now, so anyway, he's been just part of my life for my whole life, and just so we're gonna finish off all of those songs with my dad's guitar, and it's gonna be kind of again cathartic as well, just because it'll be therapeutic for Sheldon as well, and both of us in a studio together, it'll be kind of like a full circle thing too. So like his best friend's son is recording with I used to be in diapers with Sheldon, so it's just just to see. I'm sure he's thinking, wow, like Dan Smith's son is all grown up, so it'll be a cool experience. So I've heard you talk about your dad many times before and how much of an influence not only in life but very specifically a musical influence.
I mean, his passing away has had a tremendous impact on you, but musically, do you feel any sort of, I want to carry on the torch of my dad's musical life because he was such a musical part of your community out east?
Oh, absolutely. And like it comes back to just that guitar and like the good it has done in the world. Like the souls that it saved, if in some sense of the word, I guess. But like just I think I definitely feel like not that I have to, but it's just a natural. I want to keep that tradition going and keep the legacy going. So, but again, it comes back to will I use it all the time? I think I'll get to a day when I do use it a lot. It's just right now I just kind of stare at it and look. I feel like I just kind of tap it with my hands, and I feel like like that scene in Zoolander where they're like the files are in the computer. I know what it does, and I know that it makes sounds in music, but I still feel like I need to, I don't know, have not closure, but because I don't think that will ever come, but it's just some kind of I just need to, I don't know, just keep looking at it until I'm ready to play it.
Have you seen the movie About Time?
No.
It's Rachel McAdams, and I can never remember the guy who's in it. But it's this story where the men of a certain family have the ability to travel back in time by going into a dark place, closing the door, and thinking about a certain moment.
Oh, wow.
And in this movie, this guy who's about our age finds out that his dad is going to die from cancer. And so before he dies, they both say, let's go back and relive one day that we were hanging out together. And so they go back, and the son's about 7 or 8, and his dad's a lot younger, and they just hang out on the beach on the ocean all day.
Yeah.
That's like their one thing they go back to. If you had to choose a certain memory of your dad to go back and just live in, can you think of one?
I mean, again, like there's a lot, but I would say a couple. I think going to that studio when I was 12 was pretty great. It was. I felt like my dad was super proud of me in that moment, and just seeing him behind the booth in the glass, just giving the thumbs up, and I think that was a pretty great memory, and just sitting in the car, like the car ride after, and talking to him and asking him questions about the studio. And just those little moments of development just as an artist myself. Yeah. So, but I would say that. And then just, I've had so many awesome moments just sitting with Dad playing guitar, like just sitting in the living room. And he has an old 1951 Gibson as well, that he has, which is his quote unquote beater guitar.
Oh, okay.
That's the first one I ever learned on. Like when I took Royal Conservatory lessons, I brought in this vintage Gibson, and the teacher was like, "What the? That's a beautiful guitar."
Yeah.
But I would say just the musical moments. I think just Dad and I took a lot of drives as well, so we'd go out for drives, and when I was a kid, just listening to records in the car, like just put the sunroof up, and just kind of. He introduced me to so many great records that I remember after I think it was like a grade 7 dance or something. I came out of the school and got into the car, and Dad handed me a CD, and he was like, "You need to listen to this record. It's really good." And it threw me off because he was always into like John Prine and all these like great singer-songwriters, but he handed me Saturday Night Fever, the soundtrack. He was like, "You need to listen to this record," because he's like, he's like, "Yeah, it's disco, but it's got a soul to it.
Yeah.
Each song is like really well done and blah blah blah." So
that's awesome.
But I remember but that's the thing. Those are the memories that I know. Like Dad introduced me, taught me not to be a music snob, and not to just any genre is okay. Like just as long as you love it, then you can be into John Prine and singer-songwriter stuff, but you can also listen to disco, which is
a Tribe Called Quest, and like just there's no limits to anything. So that's awesome.
So I mean, those are. I mean, there's just too many memories to talk about. But yeah.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear of your dad's passing, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
From the little I did get to hang out with him and seeing you two interact, he seemed like an absolute beauty, and you guys were quite fond of each other.
Oh, right. And that's just it. Like the perspective of it all, I've, even going home last month, I know I've got buds that I hung out with that they're not talking to their dads, and they don't, and I think about that every day. I'm thankful that I was able to have a dad that was able to influence me and encourage me and help me grow. Right. So
just a beauty, just like you, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. All right. There's some Canadian questions here.
Okay.
If you could hang out and be like friends, like good friends with one famous Canadian, who would you choose?
Ooh.
Who do you think you'd be good friends with?
Well, if he would let me hang out with him, Bruce Cockburn.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like he's too cool. Like, he's awesome. He's like a legend in my books.
Oh, okay.
But I would say him, or I would have to say, oh my gosh, Rick Mercer. He's a cool dude.
Oh, yeah. Rick Mercer. What a beauty.
Boom. Those are the two.
Okay.
Actually, Alan Doyle he seems like a really nice guy.
Alan Doyle. Who's Alan Doyle?
From Great Big Sea, lead singer.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a great songwriter and just seems like a really nice guy. So I'd love to write a song with him someday.
Okay. If you could go anywhere in the world for 24 hours, this doesn't include travel.
Yeah.
So spend 24 hours anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Where would you go? Who would you take with you? You can only take one person. And what would you do?
24 hours. I'd have to go to England and check out Abbey Road Studios and just hang out there and have drinks in the studio and just chill.
Yeah. Who would you take with you?
Ooh, well, I would have to bring, my mom, of course. How many can I bring?
One. You can only bring
just
one. That's what the question
Mom.
says.
I'd bring my mom.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
That's a good choice. Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite place to visit in Canada?
Favorite place to visit in Canada? I love Souk. Out on the island. It's in just on Vancouver Island there. It's about 40 minutes outside of Victoria.
Okay. But what do you love about it?
I don't know. I just love it's very lush and green and just thick forest. Even when you're out hiking, you just feel like you're in this tropical jungle.
Wow.
But I would say there or just home. I love going back. I love going back to West Chesapeake. It's a beautiful, peaceful place with Lawrencetown Beach and all kinds of different beaches out there. So,
what do you miss most about the East Coast?
Ooh, what do I miss most about the East Coast? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I mean, obviously the food is great, but I mean the family and just there's a different vibe out there.
I was going to ask, do you think there is like an actual, like the people seem to me to be a little different?
Yeah, I feel there's just a different vibe. I think I get similar vibes when I go to Winnipeg.
Okay.
Because people are just stuck indoors and just like are thankful to be around people when it finally warms up and they're able to go out. And so I feel like there's a similar tight knit.
Okay.
Like where I grew up, like in Chesapeake, it's very tight knit. Lots of kitchen parties and people sing and drink and eat, and but there's just a simplicity to it, I guess, which in a beautiful way. Like there's just people aren't people are just working hard and I don't know. I always get made fun of whenever I go back there because it's just fun. Like I'll bring my Mac laptop and they're like, "Ooh, fancy guy with his Mac," and like, "What are you gonna go get some Starbucks?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah, probably. Oh man, we went out and visited at the Halifax and like Prince Edward Island area a few years ago, and we just loved it all out there, man.
Yeah.
My goodness, everyone I know from the East Coast is just absolutely beauty.
Well, yeah,
including you, Josh.
Oh, thanks, man.
Including you.
I just barely made it.
Don't strike yourself off that list. You're a nice guy.
I think it's and like for me, I feel like it's a bit more rugged out there too. I like the rough weather. Like even though I live out here and I enjoy the warmth, like I do enjoy the winters.
Yeah.
I know that it's really cold out there, but I like it too.
Yeah.
There's something rugged and I don't know, just gets right down to your soul, right? So,
yeah, start a fire when there's a big blizzard outside.
Yeah.
Get all cozy.
And there's lots of old Acadian homes and like a lot of stuff like that. Chesapeake was founded in, I think it was like 1670. So like my town is like an old Acadian town. So it's like very, it's just old school. So
yeah, bit more history on that side of Canada.
Yeah.
Than like I remember going from like Quebec and Montreal and the East Coast and everything has a bit more of that, European early Canada history. And
totally.
I always think it's funny when we went to Rome, like what is the Pantheon? I think like 100 BC and it's still standing.
Yeah.
And then you come over to, the prairies. It's like, that grain elevator stood for about 70 years and had to take it down last month. But that's about the oldest thing that's still standing
It's
out
so
here.
true. Yeah, my buddy got married in England, and they got married in like a 3,000-year-old church or something. It was like this old,
just nuts.
Like crazy.
Yeah. I love the East Coast and the history and the people and the food and the weather and the geography and just it's beauty.
Yeah.
But here we are in Kelowna, and it's not bad either.
No. I'm not complaining.
It'll do. It'll do. Okay. Well, do you have anything? I know you're doing your show tomorrow. Are there any other projects that are coming up for you that we, as your fans and listeners, can check out and look forward to?
Well, I do. I have been working on a couple things. I think Bex and I would like to release another single. We're kind of working on that for maybe the fall. I've got one that I'm getting ready as well, hopefully for the summertime. It's kind of a summery, groovy tune.
Okay.
It's called In the Night, and that should be coming out at some point. I have to figure all the logistics out on that, but and then I think just check my website, joshuasmithmusic.com.
Okay.
And just check out my shows, because there will be shows. They'll be kind of a bit more scattered and not as many, but
and Josh puts on an incredible show, by the way. Sometimes you hide kazoos under people's seats.
I've been known to have my Oprah moments.
Oh man,
look under your chair.
Oprah, everyone gets a kazoo. You get a kazoo.
But so there will be some shows, and hoping to shoot a couple just kind of some fun videos too for summer. So some content definitely coming out. Just kind of getting ready to shine them all up and get them ready to go.
Beauty. Okay, well, thanks so much for chatting, man. This is you're one of my favorite people just to hang out with and be around, and you happen to be an incredible musician and also Canadian, so you fit right into this whole podcast show theme and everything. So
baboon.
Thanks for coming out, man. We'll keep abreast of all of your stuff coming up with your music and your shows and everything. But until then, you stay beauty, Josh.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Alrighty. Joshua Smith, go check him out. What was your website again?
joshuasmithmusic.com.
Do it. Go. All right. Bye, Josh.
See you, buddy.
Oh, boys, they're making a time.
Hey, no, we're just wrapping up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to take a listen. Hey, while I have you both here, you want to help me unload this trampoline, and we'll get her set up in no time.
Yeah.
Maybe put a sprinkler underneath and just have a beauty time.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go, boys.
Okay.